Hi, my name is Shyla Hernandez, and I'm going to be talking about the African savanna, more specifically, the tropical grasslands of the savannas. So, the tropical grasslands are kind of known for their more dry conditions. They do have a lot of summer rain, but overall, they're a pretty dry environment. As you can see on the map, it is located within the desert and the rainforest, so quite in the middle of it. Um, and it's kind of known for its diversity. So it has lots of trees, flowers, obviously a lot of grass, and animals. Very well known for its diversity of animals. So a lot of zebras, a lot of giraffes, a lot of leopards, lions, things like this. Um, so a fun fact about some of the diversity is they're canopy trees. Um, these trees can kind of be identified by their feature of the sun is still very able to be shined through these trees. So they kind of developed a way for the sun to still get through these trees no matter what, because everything from plants to animals really do need a lot of sun. They kind of adapted over the years to need a lot of sun. Reasons to vacation in the African savanna. This is something I could go on about because it is a very beautiful place to be. It's very diverse, as I said, so many kinds of different plants and animals, and all of the sites are stunning. You get to experience things like how the species interact, and you see how the animals kind of coexist together. So obviously there is hunting. Lions are going to hunt their prey and such. But overall, there's a lot of coexisting. There's a lot of just the animals being around each other. Um, and you can see this almost on any safari trip you go on. You can see things like bird watching. So there's so many different kinds of birds in this environment. And they are a very common thing for people to want to see. You get really diverse trees, as I said, so a lot of people love to see the trees because of the fact that, excuse me for that, you get to see a lot of the fact that these trees all look different, but they're still very interesting to see. There's a very diverse culture, so the tribes are very well known for how diverse they are, and a lot of the things that they like to sell to tourists um, come from within the environment. So a lot of carvings, a lot of necklaces, a lot of things like that, and people love to see that. Some traits of the ecosystem is things like the biotic and abiotic factors kind of coexisting together. So some examples of the biotic factors are a lot of grass, like I said, a lot of trees, a lot of flowers, zebras, lions, um, leopards, giraffes. Abiotic factors being ponds, lots of rocks. So rocks are very important to this ecosystem because they're used not only for shelter, but this is kind of a common feature of the African savanna. Lots of precipitation, as I said, in the summer, and the soil is something that is very interesting to talk about. So this soil in the African savanna is something that allows waters and nutrients to stand for longer periods of time. So as I said, it is a very dry environment. So the soil became kind of adapted over the time, and became something that acquires lots of ponds and just kind of standing water. You probably saw in the last slide that you could see a lot of standing water on the ground, and that is because of the kind of soil they have in the savanna. So some threats and disturbances would be something like trophy hunting and overharvesting of waters and trees. Trophy hunting being one of the biggest problems in this environment. So not only are you having people just want to hunt and kill things like lions and such, but you also have harvesting of like rhinoceros horns. And they're overdoing it. Anyone with enough money and the skill is allowed to go and trophy hunt. And this becomes kind of a problem because the ecosystem has its balance and we are kind of breaking that. The overharvesting of native trees for carvings and other things to be sold has become a bigger problem because, as I said, as tourists kind of flock more, people who are native to this place want to kind of collect some revenue from that. They want to share their art, but sadly, it does come down to overharvesting. The worsening of arid conditions because of the fact that farming is becoming a bigger thing. So we are creating a more intense dryness. And in this environment, there's only so much water that stands because obviously there are a lot of plants, that animals are starting to suffer from all of this. With drier conditions, they aren't able to really get as much water standing as they needed to. So some species within this ecosystem, once again, are things like zebra, elephants, lions, leopards, plants such as the jackalberry tree and the African blood lily, all of which are very interesting to look at, and some relationships with this amount of species. So you'll often see elephants with birds on their backs, and the birds are kind of there to any bugs that would surround the elephant. They're kind of there to get them and eat them for nutrients. This really doesn't affect the elephant. It does help the bird, but it does not negatively affect the elephant. But it also doesn't really help them. Ticks on giraffe's back. Obviously, this is parasites, and this is hurting the giraffe. So the ticks are taking without benefiting, actually harming the giraffe. Tick birds on the backs of rhinos. This is mutualism because of the fact that both are benefiting. So the bird is being able to eat the ticks and getting nutrients from that, while the rhino isn't having any disease or pain come from ticks because of the fact that they're being gotten rid of. So the food web of the African savanna is actually one of the most diverse ones. You have a lot of primary consumers also being secondary consumers, so many different producers, that the primary consumers have plenty to choose from. So, for example, as I've given here, the grass, zebras eat a lot of grass, so they are a primary consumer of that because they are obviously herbivores, but then the leopard is getting the energy from the zebra. And the giraffes, as we all know, are well known for eating trees, and they are then becoming a food source for the lion. So to go back over it one more time, the tree or the grass would be a producer, the zebra and the giraffe would be a primary consumer, and then the secondary consumers would be the leopard and lion. Here are some of the sources I've used, and I would definitely talk about checking them out because they are very good sources to look at.